All right, guys, here we are. We came to do an inspection for a raccoon. However, we are going to go ahead. We're going to do a roofing video instead because we got some lazy roofing. So I'm going to look over here. I'm going to focus down here so I can control the drone, but I'm going to talk to you guys here. Let's go. So we're going to go ahead and approach this house here. As we can see that the roof has been redone. So that's one of the first things I look at, is to see how recent the roof has been done. However, when I come into here, the first thing I notice when I start looking for these spots that raccoons can potentially break into, such as these little corners right in here. All right, so these little corners are susceptible for raccoon entry. And if you notice that these shingles right here in these peaks are still the original shingles. So clearly this roofer didn't feel the need to stick the ladder up and re-shingle these areas here. So you can tell that a little bit lazy going on here. Makes me wonder what else didn't they do. Most likely the ice and water shield is not installed. The synthetic underlay is not installed. Who knows if they nailed the shingles in properly. So we're gonna go ahead, let's check out the rest of the roof here. We're gonna come back and check these vents out, but I know we have a peak on the back of the roof. And of course, exactly as I suspected, the old shingles are still here. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in on that for you. There you go. So you notice the deterioration of those old shingles. Those are a 3-tab shingle. And then if you do notice right in this corner, not the mesh there, but if you look at the gap in between those two shingles, you can actually see plywood. Now, the problem with that is, are you necessarily going to get a leak in this area of the roof? No, because that area of the roof is overhanging outside of the brick, outside of the wall of the house. So if water does leak in there, most likely it's just going to drop out of the soffit and drip down to the ground. Not a big deal. Over time, could it cause more damage? It could. However, the real issue that we're going to look at is the fact that the shingles are not protecting this roof properly. When there's plywood exposed like that, squirrels, raccoons, they find it very easy for them to sit in the eaves trough right there, and they can just pick away at that wood and create a new access point to get into the roof, which is not typically an access point. These are access points right here in these soffit spots. As I showed you in the front of the house, you can tell that it looks as though they had somebody doesn't really know what they're doing. You can tell by the makeshift washers with a piece of metal or something, and drywall screws. Again, that's an easy way to tell if somebody knows what they're doing when they're doing wildlife removal. You got to use the right hardware. So this corner here looks to be okay, and we're going to go up and we're going to just check out the rest of the roof. So as we can see, the other roof on the other side is also done at the same time, same shingles. Looks like a Mystique. However, what we notice is probably just as I assumed. If you look at that big dark spot right there, that's 2 shingles that have been replaced. Now, why would a new roof, I'm going to estimate this roof has been redone within the last, let's say, 5 to 7 years, and we already have a roof repair. Why are shingles coming off? Inadequate nailing, no synthetic underlay, so the shingles are not going to stick properly to the plywood. Not only that, but if the shingles are not nailed properly or lined up properly, they're not sticking to each other properly, and you get a little bit of wind and those shingles will just blow right off. So we're not going to go over there and inspect that roof just because it's not my customer. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get some overhead shots of this roof just to show the entire area of the roof here. We're going to go ahead and count our vents, and we're going to show the customer that what we found here, just so that they're aware of the status of their roof. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get up on the roof and do a full inspection. We also have the back area here. Now, because this is closer to the ground, I did notice that they did shingle inside of these triangles here, or this triangle here. Now, one of the reasons why they might have done that is because obviously from standing in the backyard here, you can notice yourself if this wasn't done. So I guess they went ahead and they put up a small ladder and they re-shingled this area right here. But when it came to these upper areas right here, and again over on the front, 2 triangles, no replacement. Right here. Okay, so that's it for today. Make sure when you're hiring a roofer, I always say if they're not willing to take some pictures up there on the roof to show you what they've done, even during the process, showing you the bare roof so that you can see the plywood and the state of the plywood so that you know if it needs to be replaced or not, as well as when they've installed the ice and water shield, they've installed the synthetic underlay, and then again show you like a complete overview of the roof, showing you that all the shingles have been replaced properly. and not left anything undone. So one of the ways that I can also tell that this roof was done together, as you can see right here in the middle, pardon me, between those two downspouts that are lined on the roof there, you don't see any seam down the middle. Now, typically what would happen is if one roof was done and then another roof was done later, you would see a seam down the middle where we had to cut down the middle and just replace the one side. However, judging by this, I can tell that this roof was done at the same time as the neighbor. Therefore, that missing shingle on the top of the roof, as well as the unfinished parts over here, you can even tell from a distance there that inside that peak is also not done. However, if you look next door, you can tell inside that peak there, the lower peak is done. So obviously this is not the same roofing company that did the next door neighbor over there. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna show the customer what we found. And as well, if you are in need of a roof replacement or roof repairs or animal removal for that matter, or prevention, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to give you a free quote over the phone and book you in to get the right job done, you know, and keep your house protected. Have a great day, everyone.